This video is for any woman considering going to law school or a law student who's thinking about making a career in the legal field. This is a video for women who are wanting to start their own business. And I'm gonna title this video, Advice I Have Never Taken. I was mentoring a young woman, a very bright young woman at an Ivy League school the other day, and I was telling her about my career and about my path, trying to answer questions for her. And she was talking to me because she knows that I am a woman. I am 43 years old, and in my lifetime before I was 35 years old, I had owned and had created two law firms, multi-million-dollar law firms that were family law. Over the course of the 18 years that I've been practicing, I never once had a mentor. I didn't know how to do it. I was creating my own playbook. And along the way, I became successful through trial and error. And I've managed maybe 30 or 40 associate attorneys in my life. So I've done management, I've created businesses, I've handled billion-dollar cases, billionaires and their divorces. And all along the way, it's been trial and error. So I want to give you guys some hacks that I learned the hard way that you can just listen to on social media and always have in your head and be better for it. And there's one piece of advice I never took, and I'm glad for it. And it was any advice that was given to me by a man in the legal industry. Now, I love men. I love them a lot. I'm not saying they don't have a lot to tell us, but if you're a young woman who's considering law school, and if you're a young woman who's in law school and thinking about your next job in the legal career, or if you're a young associate or new to the law and you're a woman, I would really encourage you to not take the advice that you get from men of a certain age or men at all. And it's not because they're not well-intentioned. It's that they have no idea of your reference points. If you're a woman who wants to start a family and have a career, asking a woman is going to give you better information. Every single time I received advice from a man when I was starting my own businesses and thinking about having a family, it was from their unique vantage point, from their experience. And every single one of those men never had to juggle having a baby, thinking about balancing having a family and having a career. Every single one of those men had come from a generation of men before them that never truly had to worry about that as much for the most part. And so the advice that they're giving you, this poor young woman who's so bright and is going to have an amazing career in the law, trust me, was getting terrible advice from older men that were saying things like, oh, you can only have this many children, or really consider whether or not you want any children at all. And that's just not true. And it occurred to me when I was hearing this from this young woman, I never once followed a piece of advice that was given to me in my legal career by an older man. But I sure did listen to them, and I took it into consideration. And even if it didn't perfectly apply to my life, I still thanked them for their time and considered it when I was making my decision. But the reason why that advice isn't going to work for you ladies is that they don't have the reference points. They don't know what we're going through, just like we don't know their reference points truly either. This is really not about vilifying someone that's different. It's about identifying your differences and making decisions from your own reference points. Okay, so what does that mean? Ladies in the legal industry, female business owners, you need to find women on the streets and tell them your story. We don't have too many models. We didn't have any models. My generation didn't have too many women that were blazing a trail and talking about it. They were blazing a trail and making a lot of money and doing their thing, but they weren't necessarily catapulting us younger women over the fence. So we need to do that for you younger ladies. We need to share with you what it's like. We need to be honest about it. And then I want you guys to take our advice with a grain of salt and make it work for you. You don't have to do it the same way we did, but you at least need to get our vantage point, our reference point, our context for your decisions. No one's talking about this, but I just thought, hey, listen, if I realized that I never once took the advice of an older lawyer in my legal career as a young woman in over 18 years, I needed to let you guys know that too. So I hope it helps.